spearfishing, and actually my main target today is to look for some scallops. Here there's some good ones out here. I brought my spear gun, but if I see something nice to shoot, I'm gonna shoot it. Also gonna be trying to shoot some bait for my lobster traps. That's the goal today. Let's jump in and see what we see.
All right, I just jumped in the water. And taking that first look into the water is probably my favorite part of each dive. And looking down into this world that we don't get to see every day. It's beautiful, mysterious, a little bit dangerous, and I love the rush that it gives me. So the first thing I see is an octopus creeping along the bottom, so I'm interested. I go take a look, he tries to make a run for it. I grab him, I give him a good shake, and I take care of him, put him in the bag. Alright, next drop, I see an opal eye swimming between some rocks, so I'm gonna take a shot at him. I think he'll make a good addition to my lobster bait experiment. I just gotta make sure I keep those guts intact. I feel like that's the secret ingredient. Alright, one fish in the bag. Let's keep it going. Reload the gun. Go for another drop. I see another opal eye in a cave. Take him too. I'm not really sure yet if these are going to make good lobster bait. I know that the oily fish are better, mackerel, sardines, things like that, but beggars can't be choosers. So I'm going to try to get what I can, and the next time I go kayak fishing, I'll make sure to save all my sardine and mackerel that I catch, so that I can use that for lobster bait. But I'm going to find out if these perch and opal eye will do the trick. I think they will. There's a lot of particles floating in the water today. I think this time of year the kelp's starting to die off, so just a lot of stuff floating in the water. The visibility was pretty good, but I think that in combination with the sun being directly overhead just made the video seem a little grainier than it actually was. So here I come up upon a family of Thornback Rays, just hanging out in the sand, taking a nap or sunbathing, I don't know. So I say hi, check them out for a minute, and then I move on. Shooting perch in this moving grass is fun. You never know what they're going to pop out at. Perch isn't a fish I usually target. I don't eat it very often, although I have. But today I have a reason and a purpose for targeting these fish. It's all for the lobster bait experiment. So here I'm following this school of fish, and as I'm turning the corner I see a large opal eye in the back. So take a long shot on him. I got a good hit. Hanging out on some grass, and I think I see a white sea bass coming through, but once it gets closer I take a closer look. That's a king salmon. That's a friggin' salmon that just swam past me. I don't know what to think right now. I'm amazed, confused. That was incredible. I'm trying to process it all. I go to the surface, and about 10 yards away I see something broke the surface over there. You see it? So that kind of freaked me out. Now I'm wondering if something was chasing that salmon, and if it might still be there. So I'm looking in that direction. I got my gun pointed that way, and I stayed like this looking for about 3 or 4 minutes. Once I didn't see anything, I got back to work. Perch hunter. Any of y'all out there ever seen a salmon while spearfishing in California? I hear it's pretty rare, so I consider myself pretty fortunate to have seen one, especially so close. At this point I'm pretty satisfied with the amount of fish I got for the lobster bait experiment, so I'm gonna head head back to the beach now and see what we can do about this scallop situation because I didn't see any.
Yo, just got back to the beach with some pretty sweet fish to use for lobster bait. Some opal and some nice perch. That ought to do really well. Now we're gonna go to another spot, look for some scallops. I didn't see any of them here, so. All right, at the new spot. See if we can't get some scallops here. And see what else is swimming.
Alright, new spot, new possibilities. You can see this area is very different from the last area. All rock. Just rock shelves running parallel to the beach as far out as we swam anyway. It was really interesting because there was so much life tucked away in all of these crevices. But more importantly, there was lots of scallops all over the place. So I'm super pumped right now, and I'm about to get busy.
Little though.
I also saw quite a few lobster on this dive, hanging out in the patio, getting the suntan or whatever. I didn't have my lobster gloves with me, so I left them alone, even though I probably could have grabbed them using the gloves I had, but I'll be back for them. But today was all about scallops. These big orange lip scallops is what I was looking for, and there goes one right there. About the only thing you can see on these guys is the lips. The rest of it's covered in algae, moss, whatever. And if you're not looking, you might just mistake it for a rock. Scallop diving is just so much fun. They're my ultimate favorite thing to eat out of the ocean, and it's just very relaxing because, you know, scallops don't run from you. You don't have to creep up on them. You don't have to do a whole lot other than be able to spot them and pry them off the rock. And you can take your time, and so it's just a really fun activity that I enjoy doing. I've done it a couple of times now, and it's just a nice change up from you know, actively hunting fish on the reef. One of the things I noticed is that my pry bar is flat, so for some of these scallops it was difficult to get leverage to be able to pop them off the rock. My buddy had a curved bar, and he was a lot more successful at getting that leverage and popping off scallops that I couldn't, just because of the angle. So I'm gonna go look for something with some curve to it so that I can really get behind these scallops and give them one good bump and pop them off the rock. So on this drop I was able to get 2 scallops, so that's cool. They were all over the place, but still not as many as I saw at the Channel Islands. That place was littered with them, and big ones too. So I spotted a Cabezon upside down in a cave, and so I went back up to get my gun loaded, dropped down on him, and I shot him right here. And he was a pretty nice fish. I love Cabezon. They're one of my favorite fish to eat. I've said it before, just because the meat is so firm, tender, and it's almost sweet. You can almost taste the crabs and everything that they eat inside their meat, and it's just got a really good flavor to it. I also gathered some red urchin on this trip because everybody says we have the best in the world. I've tried it once before in a sushi restaurant and I didn't really care for it, but I always said that if I harvested it myself I'd be willing to give it another chance, so that's what I'm going to do with this one. And I also got a couple more a little bit later on too. And I took them home, watched a video on how to process them and eat them, and I actually really enjoyed it. Way different from what I ever remembered at that restaurant. So I think from now on, red urchin's back on the menu. here's a couple more that I gathered. That one on the right there is the biggest one, and that one had the most meat, I guess, whatever you call it, gonad, I don't know. I gotta say they're pretty though. So that pretty much wraps up this dive trip. I got a limit of scallops, I got a few red urchins, a delicious cabezon, and I got some decent fish for the lobster bait experiment. I really hope that works out, because if it does, I got an endless supply of lobster bait. If it doesn't, I'll have to focus on mackerel using sabikis. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you for the next one.